Hey MyNationOnline.com, it's your girl Ashley here with another video blog. When a person decides to run for public office, they know that their personal life and the people they surround themselves will be scrutinized. This past week, Barack Obama, presidential candidate and U.S. Senator, has come under strong fire based on some of the comments that his pastor, Jeremiah Wright, made at his church. Here's what the pastor said.
Who cares about what a poor black man has to face every day in a country and a culture controlled by rich white people? Somebody missed that. You got nervous because we got some white members here. I am still in Bible country. I am still in the text. Jesus was a poor black man who lived in a country and who lived in a culture that was controlled by rich white people. The Romans were rich. The Romans were Italians, which means they were European, which means they were white. And the Romans ran everything in Jesus' country. It just came to me within the past few weeks, y'all, why so many folk are hating on Barack Obama. He doesn't fit the model. He ain't white. He ain't rich. And he ain't privileged. Hillary fits the mold. Europeans fit the mold. Giuliani fits the mold. Rich white men fit the mold. Hillary never had a cab whiz past her and not pick her up because her skin was the wrong color. Hillary never had to worry about being pulled over in her car as a black man driving in the wrong. I am sick of Negroes who just do not get it. Hillary was not a black boy raised in a single parent home. Barack was. Barack knows what it means to be a black man living in a country and a culture that is controlled by rich white people. Hillary can never know that. Hillary ain't never been called a nigger. Hillary has never had her people defined as non-persons. Hillary ain't had to work twice as hard just to get accepted by the rich white folk who run everything, or to get a passing grade when you know you are smarter than that C student sitting in the White House. Oh, I am so glad that I got a God who knows what it is to be a poor black man in a country and a culture that is controlled by and run by rich white people. He taught me, Jesus did, how to love my enemies. Jesus taught me how to love the hell out of my enemies and not be reduced to their level of hatred, bigotry, and small-mindedness. Hillary ain't never had her own people say she wasn't white enough. Jesus had his own people siding with the enemy. That's why I love Jesus, y'all. He never let their hatred dampen his hope. There is a name I love to hear.
Those are definitely strong comments that could offend potential voters in the fall. This was Barack Obama's response to his pastor's remarks.
I didn't. I wasn't in church during the time that these statements were made. Now, I think it's important, Keith, to point out that he's been preaching for 30 years. He's a man who was a former Marine, who served this country, a biblical scholar, somebody who's spoken at theological schools all across the country and is widely regarded as a preacher. That's the man I know. That's the person who was the pastor of this church. I did not hear such incendiary language myself personally, either in conversations with him or when I was in the pew. He always preached a social gospel and was sometimes controversial in the same way that many people who speak out on social issues are controversial. But these particular statements that have been gathered are ones that I strongly objected to, strongly condemned. Had I heard them in church, I would have expressed that concern directly to Reverend Wright. So I didn't become familiar with these until recently. I would not repudiate the man. As I said, this is somebody who I have known for 17 years helped bring me to Jesus and helped bring me to church. And he and I have a relationship. He's like an uncle who has talked to me not about political things, not about social views, as much as about faith and God and family. And he's somebody who is widely respected throughout Chicago and around the country for many of the things that he's done, not only as a pastor, but also as a preacher. But I have to say that the comments that have been played are ones that are contrary to what I believe, what I think of this country, the love that I have for this country, and are ones that anger and distress me. So I would describe it as a member of your family who says something that you really disagree with. They don't stop being a member of your family, but you have to speak out forcefully on the issue. Out that this will be used as political fodder, as it has been in the past. These kinds of things, and what I hope is that the American people will trust that what I believe, my values, my ideals, what I've spoken about in terms of bringing the country together, that all those things override a guilt by association. And that's going to be one of the things that we talk about throughout this campaign. And frankly, that's something that every candidate has to deal with. So I'm confident in the American people that they will hold me accountable for what I say, what I do, and what I believe. Now, one thing that I do hope to do is to use some of these issues to talk more fully about the question of race in our society, because part of what we're seeing here is Reverend Wright represents a generation that came of age in the 60s. He is an African-American man who, because of his life experience, continues to have a lot of anger and frustration, and will express that in ways that are very different from me and my generation, partly because I benefited from the struggles of that early generation. And so part of what we're seeing here is a transition from the past to the future. And I hope that our politics represents that future.
But we want to know what you think. Log on to www.mynationonline.com. Let us know what you think about Pastor Jeremiah Wright's comments. Do you think that the pastor's comments will hurt Barack Obama at the polls? Make sure you submit a comment, a video blog, or a written blog on this topic. We want to know what you think in your nation.